We are joined on the dais by Temple head coach Adam Fisher, Zion Stanford, and Steve Settle III. Coach, if we could just start with some general comments by you, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, first off, thanks to the league's first-class event. Excited with Tim's leadership here. Disappointed, obviously, that the season comes to an end, especially the way it did. Great credit to Tulsa. They made more plays than we did and dominated the second half. It's hard to win when you shoot 24%, over 10 from three, and then allow someone to shoot 56%. So, but I'm really proud of our team. We had injuries throughout this season. Guys had to step up, and we even see it here today. So, really proud of our seniors. Grateful for them. Thank you to Shane, Mateo, Steve, those guys, and Jamal Mashburn Jr. They've done a lot for this program. Some been in it a short time, some longer. And then the only other thing I would say is, this is not to take away from anybody that was on the first team, but the fact that Jamal Mashburn Jr. is not first team in this conference with 10 guys selected is absolutely crazy. He was averaging 24 points a game in the league play. He played in 23 games, if I'm not mistaken. And the fact that he's not first team, I don't know what first team is anymore. I don't. And maybe I got no email about whether it's anything to do with the injury, how many games you missed. But again, he's a first teamer. He's a clear first teamer, whether it's 5 guys or 10 guys. Questions?
All right, Coach, thank you. Please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Give us your name and affiliation, please.
Sean Pastor, Alice Daly. For Zion and Steve, besides the shots not falling, what was the difference in the second half, or was that mostly it?
We just got to make shots. We missed shots and they made them, and that was the difference in the game.
Zion, did they change anything defensively against you in particular? Because you were, getting to the rim and finishing a lot in the first half.
I guess they keyed in, tried to deny me full court. So, yeah, that was like one of their main adjustments for the second half.
On the aisle on the left.
Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. Coach and Zion, you do mention Jamal's injury. How much does learning how to battle through that and persevere kind of future-proof you guys a little bit?
Yeah, I think we needed guys to step up, and I think we saw Zion's growth, right? First off, from last year to this year, he made a huge jump. He did an incredible job. It's a credit to him this offseason. He really worked on his game. I think for him coming back, he knows our terminology, knows our system, so we can really focus on his game. And he just got better and better with every game. I think you can see it, his decision-making with the ball in his hands. I mean, we had him guard a 5 this year. We had him play the point. He's played the 4, he's played the 3. We've thrown so many things at him. I'm really proud of Z. I think Z is a star in the making, and he was awesome throughout this year as it went on.
Zion, what did you learn from that experience of having to step up this year?
Just staying focused, being ready when my number called, because in basketball, in any sport, any competitive sport, one man can go down, so that doesn't mean the season over or it's the end of the world. So once that happens, just me keeping the next man up mentality and just staying focused and trusting my teammates, trusting in my coaches.
Over here on the right.
Ron Mack, the Temple News. For you, Steve, what did you kind of see on offense in that first half? It kind of felt like everything was coming to you with ease. What was Tulsa kind of doing in offense? How did you kind of take what the defense was giving you?
Yeah, just trying to be aggressive. I feel like when I'm aggressive for this team, good things happen. So just trying to do what I could to help us, put us in a chance to win the game.
And for you, Coach, Bills, you talked about Mash not playing. Quante also didn't play as well. You two-year starting guards. What kind of went into this decision? When did you kind of realize that you weren't going to have both of them in tonight's game?
Jay's been working. He did a shooting workout yesterday. He was kind of going. It looked like good pace to him. So again, I know people were tired of hearing, but it was day to day, seeing how he responded to that. Quante, I did not know about until shoot around today.
And what kind of adjustments did you kind of see like Tulsa making that second half, especially on the defensive end?
You know, I think we allowed missing shots in the second half to dictate our defense. And that's where I was disappointed, because you're not going to make shots all game. But again, once Mo went out, you know, now you're left with very limited, you know, with having one guard sub out there. So, you know, again, great credit to Tulsa, great coach, Coach Conkle. They made plays when they needed to win it, and we didn't make enough.
Chuck, do you have any questions on Zoom? No. We have one in the front here.
Adam, did Quante, was that like a dislocated finger or something? Did he back, you know, hurt it again in this morning or yesterday?
Not to my knowledge. He told us he couldn't play today.
Late in the game, I guess, I don't know, you didn't have a ton of options. We got Shane out there with 4 fouls, trying to check Odom sometimes. That was a tough, I mean, just kind of deal with what you got to deal with defensively there.
Yeah, you know, I think it's been our season, right? We start the season with 16 guys, three walk-ons, 13 scholarship guys, and as the season kept going on, we had to reinvent ourselves with some injuries, and then even today being more limited. And I thought Shane really guarded. He's a senior. He's been a great part of our program. He's been here 3 years. You know, Odom's a really good player, man. Like he's tough. He can get in the paint. He top and assist. Like he's a really good player, and he got to his spots tonight.
As you were just watching the two sort of pick and pop threes that Garcia hit, should it have been defended a little differently, or right? Is that?
Yeah, we had to defend it a little bit better. We got to communicate a little bit more on the defensive end.
Second row right there on the left.
Coach, as the fouls kind of started to pile up in the second half, did that kind of change how y'all defended at all, and maybe kind of let them start to grow that lead for the first time all game?
You know, no, I think we played hard and physical. You know, look, it's something we've done all season long, right? We missed 11 free throws. I think we're top 5 in the country in getting to the foul line. So we had to, you know, we did what we wanted. We just had to make the ones when we got there. And you're not going to make all 35, but you hope to make a little bit better percentage. And then defensively for us, again, we had to manage some fouls. But again, great credit to them. They were the tougher team in that second half.
In the back, on the right.
James Urban, WHIP, for you, Coach. Coming in your second year, you came in with Steve. I remember you mentioned he's a guy that you recruited even before that you came. You knew him prior to coming to Temple. How tough is it going to say goodbye to a guy like him? He's been consistent in the lineup, somebody you've always been able to rely on.
You know, I actually got to know him once I got the job. You know, he's one of my favorite people I've been around. You know, the number one thing I remember about Steve, and I don't know if you'll recall this or not, the first phone call I had with him when we tried to recruit him, I felt like I had known him for years, and I thought him and I hit it off well. It was a good conversation, not just basketball, but life. And look, if we can go find 13 Steve Settles to have on your team, that's what you want. Comes from an amazing family, great support system, handles his business off the court, comes into work every single day, does it the right way. When you're trying to build a program, like that's the kind of guy you want. That's the leadership I want Zion Stanford to see. This is what a 5th or 6th year guy does, so that Zion does that when he's back here. But Steve Settle's been phenomenal. He's had a great season, great 2 years. He's made a great impact on Temple.
Front row, second row here on the right.
Colin Schofield with the Temple News. Coach, you talked about a little bit ago how you start with 16 guys and 13 of them scholarship. Now today you go down to 9, even 8 after Big Mo gets hurt. Can you talk, obviously not the results you want, can you talk about kind of the toughness and resilience your team showed you throughout the year, even through the result today?
Yeah, you know, look, when we put the team together, and I say this all the time, we did it like a puzzle, and we thought we had all the right pieces. But if there's one thing this year taught me, you have to learn to adjust the puzzle. Right, so once, I could be wrong on this, I think I don't believe we had one game this season where all 13 scholarship players were available. So now you have the puzzle pieces, and now you lose a couple guys early in the year. How do you figure that out, right? So we started 4-4, now you gotta kind of reinvent. Now we figured it out, now we go on a run, and now we start getting better. Now we're 14-8, now the second leading scorer at the time the country gets hurt. Now you have to refigure out how do you get better. And then through those games, you have some other guys. So guys got to step up and make plays. I told these guys all the time, nobody feels bad for me, right? It's part of the game. And I think we got to see a lot of growth from a lot of guys, especially our younger guys. I mean, how many teams in this league are starting 2 freshmen? We started 3 freshmen a few games ago versus South Florida. Like, we need our guys to keep getting better. And, I think when you stay in our program, you get better. Look at Zion's numbers from last year to this year. That's what I expect to see from Dylan Battie, Aiden Tobias, and Baba. Them get better as we go through.
And you talk about building that puzzle, and now you're going to be entering the offseason, rebuilding that puzzle once again. You're losing a handful of key contributors like Steve, like Jamal Mashburn. How do you kind of approach this offseason now, especially with revenue sharing coming into play? And just how are you looking to kind of build that puzzle once again?
Yeah, things have changed, right? And we know that we've been working on the revenue share, the NIL. Like, we need to be competitive. We need to be competitive in our league in that number. Since I've been here, our NIL has not been as competitive as where we want it to be, but I think we're going in the right direction. And then we got to assess, right? The first thing you got to go do is meet with your guys and figure out who's coming back in this crazy age, right? And then you got to recruit those guys to come back. And then you got to figure out what pieces do you need. And that, you put this thing together. I joked, it's my second year in the league, and you get to know teams, but there's so many new players in this league this off season. So we'll go back to the drawing board. We'll piece it together. It starts with getting our returners back, retaining guys, and then we'll figure out what we need from there.
First row right here.
Zion, do you feel a sense now, like I'm going to step up and not make you take charge of this team to some degree, really?
Yeah, I feel like next year will be me entering my years of being an upperclassman. So upperclassmen is known for being leaders and showing the underclassmen how to do things, how to speed, how the strength is, just being a mentor to the younger players. So I feel like that would be my role next year.
Adam, with respect to Jameel Brown, could you sort of say now, is he going to apply for a hardship redshirt?
Yeah, we'll talk with compliance and go through some things we've talked about all season long. Can't really file anything until after the season, so we'll go back and revisit that with our compliance people and Jameel and his family.
I don't want to sound like second guessing, but have you ever sat there over the last month and said, gosh, maybe Jamal wanted to come back after missing 2 games, and maybe I shouldn't have brought him back so early and just held him out?
Yeah, no, I don't second guess it. We've trusted him. He knows his body better than anyone. He's been the decision maker. We've supported him and gotten him the treatment. Like I said, he practiced multiple days prior to that game and looked like he did all year. So no, I don't second guess it.
One more question, right here on the left.
You mentioned the toughness, the versatility, the resiliency of the team this year as it dealt with various injuries and stuff. How does that factor into your recruiting pitch as you try to build the puzzle for next year and beyond?
Yeah, the biggest thing we really wanted to add this year was having great depth. We thought that was a big thing for us. So I think that's why we were able to figure it out towards the end of the season. End the season by winning 3 in a row. Look, I don't remember ever being a part of a season where we played 19 conference games now and 18 are single digits. And I think of those, it's like 15 or 16 are a possession game with a minute to go. It's a great credit to our student athletes. We have great student athletes that competed, played hard all year long. And again, it's credit to them. There's some days we didn't know who could play, and they didn't phase, they didn't complain. They just were like, coach, whatever you need. So it's a great credit to these guys. We were able to move guys around a lot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys too for your coverage. Safe game.